Think you know college wrestling? Prove it. The Division I Wrestling Championships are here, and we want to hear from you. Send us your champion picks and dark horses for the tournament, and we'll shout out the best ones on the show. Who's winning it all? Who's busting brackets? And who's the sleeper nobody's talking about? Drop your picks in the comments or send them to us, and you might get featured on Flagrant Foul with Rich and Nate. Let's see who really knows their wrestling.
Run this out. Run this out. Yeah. Hey, Cleveland roots with a reckless style. Take so bold and a flagrant foul. Abs on the ice, Notre Dame pride. Wrestling talk pop culture ride from Rich to Nate. It's full court wild. Sit back, press play. It's flagrant foul. Yeah. It's flagrant foul.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 32, Flagrant Foul with Rich and Nate. My boy Nate's over here. What's going on?
What up?
Yeah. Hey, so St. Patrick's Day week. It sounds like you hit the festivities early. I myself did a tiny bit of it, but pretty much just waiting on it for tomorrow. How'd that go? You went out Saturday?
It was good. We went out, started drinking beers at about 2 or 3. That was awesome.
Okay. Good.
Got a little, we were playing some Switch, got some pizza going, and then we went out to Lakewood, hit up some bars down there. They have an insomnia cookie down there, which is open late and incredible.
Okay.
We also ordered a small pepperoni pizza to have for when we got back,
Okay.
and that came in clutch. Always have to prepare for what you're gonna eat after a night of drinking. And we were thoroughly prepared. So
Guys are good. Everybody feel all right next day?
Yeah.
You guys were awful quiet. Y'all were awful quiet over there, so I was wondering the hangovers were running strong.
we slept till about noon, but once we were up, I think everybody was feeling good. So.
Nice. Well, you doing anything for tomorrow? We got the corned beef, the cabbage, the potatoes. Me and Beans are ready to rock for tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But NFL. So we have a kind of a jam-packed episode for you today. We're going to be heavy into some college wrestling here in a bit. I did some in-depth analysis and bracket breakdown. But we do want to touch on a few things beforehand. NFL-wise, free agency continues on. It's a little bit quiet. First, basically Monday, Tuesday were the big day. A little activity on Wednesday, and it's been fairly quiet ever since, I would say. But, a couple things to highlight as far as the Browns go. They're bringing in, I'm going to get these names wrong, and I know Nate's going to be all over me, but we got is it Kyla Davis? Did I say it right? Defensive end?
I got no idea on that one.
All right. Well, we're going to call that one good.
Kyla, Kayla, who knows?
Okay. Productive defense in San Francisco, and he was the starter. So, bring him on in. And then Jack Stoll will be coming to join us as we expected. And Njoku was released last week. Stoll will be a blocking tight end. So, a couple of moves right there that we hadn't talked about last week. Corey Bojorquez, unsigned. He's signed. He'll be back, a captain. I hope he has a little bit of a bounce back here. Not that he was terrible, but I wouldn't say last year was necessarily the strong year that he had the year before. But yeah, just otherwise fairly quiet since then. I want to know, on the receiver front, there's still some names out there. I don't know how I'm feeling about that, to be honest with you. Part of me, we have a lot of holes to fill. Part of me is like, yeah, maybe is it worth having a conversation and bringing an Ayuk in? I don't know though, because I don't really want to be stuck with two Jerry Jeudy veteran types that may or may not work out. I kind of want to be like, we're already stuck with Jeudy and the receivers we have on this team. I don't want to bring in a guy that's going to make us not go after a top tier receiver in the draft. Then that part of the room needs a major upgrade. So I don't know. What do you think with what you've seen so far? You getting any vibes which way we're leaning?
I don't know. I have heard some stuff. I have not heard that much about Ayuk and the Browns being interested. I'm sure they're digging around, but I can't imagine Ayuk, I don't know how long that dude's played. He didn't play at all last year.
No.
He got a big contract and then basically went Antonio Brown mode, trying to speed run the Antonio Brown journey, but
yeah,
I don't think there's any world where that happens if Andrew Berry wants to keep his job. begrudgingly forgiving him for the Deshaun Watson decision. There's no chance that he should be considering Ayuk. If he does, the brother's tripping. But I've heard, I don't think it's happening, but I would love to bring in Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be sick.
Yeah. There are some other names out there. I just don't know how realistic it is. I mean,
I've heard the Brian Thomas Jr. trade rumors. Apparently, there were a lot of teams, like the Browns being one of them, that were interested. But I guess Jacksonville kind of shut that down, said that's not happening. So,
yeah,
I don't see them getting anything like that would be considered an upgrade if it's not to the draft.
this is sort of where I'm at right now with the team. It's like I've seen some JJ McCarthy interest. Like, who knows if that's smoke and mirrors. Some of these names that are out there, there's no vet presence that I care about bringing in. We're stuck with Watson, and regardless, we got 2 years on his contract, or is it? Yeah, we got 2 years left on his. You got Shadur. We're going to give him a chance. Really, I would like to see us jettison Dillon. I'd like to see us bring in another rookie quarterback later in the draft because you're going to have a guy. Deshaun won't be here forever, and God knows our quarterbacks get hurt. So I'd like this to see us go late. I think we've done some decent work on the offensive line, although I've seen on multiple different grading platforms that we kind of overpaid like a mofo for our boy from the Chargers. However, the center we ended up getting, I seen an A grade of an A, so that seems to be strong. But all this to say, I still think we're in a slightly better position going into the draft, but I still think first 2 picks got to be receiver, O-line. I still think we need to do more work on the O-line in the draft, and I think we need to continue to look for probably a tight end and receiver depth, and then snag in a late round prospect, potentially like a Drew Aller or something like that. I know you're not as high as I am. I'm not high on him, but I think he does have some upside. I think he's a big, strong body that can make great throws, and I would rather do that than us go for some stupid move like we're just going to fall in love with Ty Simpson and grab him. I don't want that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Thoughts?
I don't know. If we could get Drew Aller late, I guess I would be okay with it. But yeah, I do feel like they're leaning more towards going O-line with the 6th pick. Obviously depends on how the draft goes. I've also seen where they just pick the best player available. Whether that is Caleb Downs, which I think he will end up following based on his
or Jeremiah Love
physical that came back. That would be sick. I have seen people say, I saw someone there like, if everybody's gone, and Jeremiah Love is still there, how do you deny taking him?
I saw that as well. People are lobbying hard.
That'd be kind of sick, but I don't think that's happening. I also seen I can't remember his first name, Bain from Miami.
Yeah.
What's his name? I'm reading for it right now. But that dude's supposed to be a monster. They say that he has T-Rex arms, but
yeah,
who cares? He's a dog. So I honestly, at this point, I feel like I'm more lost than we were before the season ended. I have no idea where they're going. I don't know if they're interested in the top 3 receivers or if they're only interested in Carnell Tate, or maybe they're not interested in any of them at all. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
I sort of think too, with our cap situation, it'd be hard pressed to see us run through this draft and keep all those picks. If you ask me, I just don't know that we have the funds to get everybody under contract. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. We're starting to enter the period. We're about 5-ish weeks out from the draft. So you're going to hear a whole bunch of lies right now. People spreading disinformation, trying to see if we can get somebody to make a pick and see a guy fall. But it'll be interesting. We talked about him last week. The linebacker we ended up picking up from the Jets. I like him. I like him. I still think we need more work on the linebacker front, probably on the defense. I think we could probably use a safety.
Jacob Rodriguez late would be sick. Caleb Downs.
Him really bad.
If Caleb Downs falls to the 2nd round, which or even if he falls to 24, I don't know how much people are expecting him to fall because he has degenerative ACL and like something else I can't remember. But
Who reported that? Is it somebody with the bottom half of the first
it
round
was like
draft pick?
it was like during his combine physical, I believe, something along the lines. But if he ends up falling a good amount, he's one of those guys. Like if he's still there, you kind of got to take him. You don't really have a choice.
This is
So.
my thing, which you and I both know. Like, you do need to be conscious of injuries and physicals. Was he healthy and playing well at the end of the year? Yes. So, like, you kind of want to go, being a former collegiate athlete and seeing how many of your teammates made it out unscathed. Now you go,
None.
a super intense contact sport. Guy's been playing it a long time for a high level. Every one of these guys coming out has had an injury, and has probably going to have arthritis. It probably is going to have neck, back, knee, shoulder, elbow. So maybe oversimplifying a little bit, but I think the expectation of just grabbing, sometimes you just got to pass the eye test. Is this guy a football player? Has he played? Does he make plays? There is no guarantees of future. Look at Jock. I mean, that guy was a stud, in great shape coming out of college, hit hard, but then what, So I do want,
They did have. That's why Jock fell, because he had a medical thing in his. That's why he fell to us, and then
fair enough.
He's dead again. So.
Well, Jacob Rodriguez seems like a Brown. He seems
that
like
would be so sick.
He seems like a dog. I would enjoy it. There's like a few guys I could just get like so excited by because I feel like that guy's a Brown, right? So, but yeah, that's not a whole lot Browns wise. Otherwise, saw some interview. The vibe seemed good. It was good seeing guys going into the facility that we just signed and seeing some of the faces that are in the facility right now in March working out. So that's a good thing to see. Around the league. So Minnesota pulled the trigger and ended up getting Kyler Murray. So you sort of speculated at that last week. I guess that'll make JJ, I guess, a trade prospect. I don't really know how much value is. I'm almost liking his value to maybe slightly better than Dylan Gabriel. I don't know.
He's definitely above Dylan Gabriel, I would say. But I also don't think that move is them throwing in the towel on him. Maybe it's just in case. Maybe it's a QB competition kind of deal. I don't know. But I also think when you have like a good team like they have, when you have Justin Jefferson, like the clock is ticking on him. Like you're only gonna have the best receiver in the league for so long. I understand them trying to figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. Who's this receiver? I can't remember his name. Our boy Big D keeps sending us videos of the dude that played in like Japan and Akron. I think Ken or Akron he played the receiver.
I've not seen it.
Dude's like lobbying hard to get a tryout for the Browns, but I don't know. I like his attitude and his energy. I say bring him in for camp, but I'll have to look that up. Give me a sec. Let me see if I can find it. Folks out there need to go do a little research and see if this guy's worth bringing in. It's hold up, Boogie Night. You didn't check it out? You don't know who that is?
I remember. Was it like the TikTok of the guy?
Yeah,
he
played in
Browns,
Japan.
I can fix you.
I think like in the pro leagues he's been like the league VP, and I don't know. I like him, so he's got a good vibe. So I'm gonna lobby for him. Come on, Cleveland, let's bring this dude in. How many people are clamoring to come play for the Cleveland Browns? So I think
all of them. Everybody wants to come to Cleveland.
What alternate universe are you living in? I mean, we brought a dude off the streets who was homeless and scored a preseason touchdown, so we'll bring somebody in. Don't think won't happen. I can't remember that guy's name either, but that's about all I had from.
What's his name? Damian Sheehy Giuseppe.
Yes.
The
Yep.
goat.
The goat. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess there is one other thing. Let's talk about this whole what do you call it? Max Crosby situation. Kind of crazy.
It's great for us, honestly. I was terrified of having Max Crosby in the AFC North. I'm not as scared about them having Trey Hendrickson. He's been on the Bengals and he's fine, but Max Crosby is a different animal, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's a little bit of a crazy situation. Now he's got to go back. Supposedly he's going to keep playing there. It's just, yeah, that one's going to be a little weird. So, well, that's all I had football wise. We're going to skip around here a little bit. I want to save our wrestling talk for the end, but a couple things. Cavs, not a ton to report. I know you went to a game last week and shouted out that James Harden looked like a dog.
James Harden's sick, as always.
They're still sitting in fourth place. I think they're like 2.5 games back of third. So they're playing all right now. MLB wise, we're about 2 weeks out from opening week, I guess, opening day. Again, I don't follow baseball a ton until like the All-Star break. I mean, I do, and I'll go to the games, but it's all meaningless till like the All-Star break. So not a ton to report.
Have you followed the World Baseball Classic, though?
A little bit. Up through the no handshakes, and then like the Dominican is like smoking people, or didn't they?
No. Well, they lost to the U.S. in the semis last night, 2-1.
Yeah. Okay,
now, there's some controversy because the Dominicans are we're playing a little dirty, I saw one was like a strike 3, but like the catcher dropped it so they could like run to first, and that guy running to first tried to he purposely went out of the baseline in hopes the catcher would hit him with the pitch so he would be safe, whatever, like Bush League stuff. And then another one, like Manny Machado slid a little too late towards the second baseman, I believe it was. He had his foot on the bag, but ended up bobbling the ball, so it pulled him off of it. If he ended up staying there, his Achilles would probably no longer be with us. So some people were a little upset that there was some Bush League going on. But the U.S. did get the 2-1 W over the Dominican, and they, I think, were the favorites. I honestly have no idea who they're playing in the finals, but a lot of people are mad. I think it was, I don't remember. I want to say maybe Dominican had someone on third. It was 2-1, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Full count. This ball is a good 4 or 5 inches under the strike zone. And they called it a strike for the win. So a lot of people are mad about that. But a dub's a dub. So whatever.
Was the Dominican rocking the same roster they take to the Little League World Series?
It's possible. Those kids are.
They'll do that. They'll be like, that guy looks an awful lot like Juan Soto.
They'll do the old bench warmers with the $20 bill.
They got Howie out there with his sword. Nice. Yeah, well, so baseball talk, we'll be amping that up here shortly. All right, moving on. Hockey. We got a lot to talk about here as far as the old stick and puck season. So number one, I have a little trivia for you. What country, I'll give you a hint, it's in the Americas, owns the sport of hockey? Any
United
answers?
States of America?
Yeah, clean sweep. We had the Paralympic men's sled hockey, took down the Canadians in the gold medal match in Milan. So that's a clean sweep of men's, women's, and the sled hockey. So, if there's any more further proof, they can't beat us in any way, shape, or form. That's our sport now.
Honestly, I was thinking about this. So the big four: football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Now, football and basketball are already ours. Like, we've already been killing people since it began. But the fact that we got hockey now, and tomorrow night for the World Baseball Classic, we might have baseball as well, that is a big year for the U.S.
I mean, it really is. And I feel like, don't fact check any of this because I don't know. I feel like lacrosse might have been started in Canada. I feel like we own that now. I feel like curling was a Canadian sport.
That's true.
We own that. Look it up.
Did the Native Americans not invent lacrosse?
Well, technically, natives in Canada are Native Americans, so I could be wrong.
Indigenous people of North America. So it doesn't specify where exactly.
Okay, we're going to claim that. So I would say that's like a lesser...
Oh, it says in 1867. This is the AI overviews. Take that with a grain of salt. In
If it proves my
1867,
point, I'm
a
claiming it.
Canadian dentist, William George Beers, quite the name, formalized the game, introducing the first set of written rules, establishing the modern field size and reducing the number of players.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So baseball, ours. Football, ours. Basketball, ours. Hockey, definitively ours, based off of this year. Lacrosse, I feel like curling is now ours. I mean, I feel like all that's left is like sled dog
Soccer.
racing. Like we need some guys to be traded sled dog right now. And then basically we own all of them. So whatever.
If we got soccer, that would be huge, but that will never happen.
Yeah, I feel like there's just not enough like elite talent to spread amongst all those sports and soccer. It's like, I think it's gotten better, but like, I know like in past years when the World Cup comes around, it's like, oh, you know, the U.S. men's soccer team's like having some of the better years they've ever had. And then they like go out there and they look like a U12 team playing like an adult pro team because guys are like so freaking massive and big, long, fast. It is pretty amazing. And I will shout that out. World Cup this summer. I believe it's June, July. It's in the U.S. I know KC's one of the host sites, but not a massive soccer guy, but I can get into it. But if you're like, oh, soccer's boring, this and that, watch the World Cup because those guys are freaking elite, like what they can do.
There is a game here in Cleveland. I don't remember exactly who's playing. Nigeria, I want to say, and somebody else.
Yeah.
But
well,
that'd be cool.
Anyway, I digress. Back to hockey. So on the NHL front, man, the Central is absolutely loaded. It's after the start that the Avs had, just basically not even into double-digit losses until basically through the break. And with all that said, they're like 2 games up maybe on the Dallas Stars. Like they're hot on our heels right now. What?
Real
You're
quick,
raising your hand?
I misspoke. There's not a World Cup game in Cleveland. It's a friendly World Cup game.
It's a friendly?
It's a friendly game, unrelated. It's supposed to be a warm up. It's Brazil and Egypt, so I got that wrong as well.
I mean, it is
to get that out there. All right.
It's World Cup related, so I'll give it to you.
It's soccer.
On the technicality. Yeah, I'll give it to you on the technicality. So, you know, I mean, basically, from the 4 people that were going to it when it was a World Cup game till you downgraded it to a friendly, they need to take 1 chair away. So as long as there's room for 3 people to watch. Sorry, not bagging on soccer. I had little gentle ribbing, never hurt anybody. But anyway, Dallas right on our heels, and it's so freaking frustrating right now. And then, quite honestly, Minnesota, I know we beat them, both teams, in the last week, but, you know, it was in overtime. Like, you know, you go from we're probably playing the 4 seed to potentially we may end up playing like the Wild and then have to play Dallas in a 7-game series with them getting the home game advantage, like the home ice. That sort of sucks. I hope that doesn't happen, but I will say we have LOC is yet to be back. Keep hearing he's making good progress, but I have not heard great updates like, oh, he's skating with the team. So who knows when he's coming back. Lykinen, you know, this has been a little longer than I thought, but he will be back at some point. Landy was in practice today, so that's a great sign after the old puck to the beanbag. Some ice and rest, and he should be back. And then Ross is out too. Like, we need to get a couple of these guys back within the next week, and then I think we got a favorable schedule over what Dallas has. But I think if this lingers on over, like, honestly past the 2-week period, we're in trouble with taking that that top seed advantage. In years past, we've been like, just get in, this team's loaded. And I do think this team's loaded. We talked about it last week. Like, our forward group, our defensive group, it is loaded. But Dallas does have our number. And I don't want to have to play a tough series against a tough Minneapolis team and then have to go and try to win, you know, at least a game in Dallas. Like, that will make such a huge difference. The other thing is, I'm not ready to give up on Mackenzie Blackwood, but I'm done with the Blackwood experiment for this year. Like, I know we could probably give him a little bit more support on the back end. And quite honestly, this team should be putting more than 1 puck in the net to help him out. However, it's just the vibe of the team when Blackwood's in there. Like, it's Wedgwood's net. I think it'll be Wedgwood's our starter for the playoffs. I just hope we don't lose that number 1 seed before it happens. I'm kind of done with seeing him right now. Like, almost to the point, I almost want to see them bring up maybe Minor and see what he does in one of these spot starts, because he's struggling this year. He didn't start the year. He kind of lost his net because he was coming back from injury, and he has just not looked the same. I don't think he's the same goalie as Wedgwood, but that's probably our Achilles heel right now. So, it's funny. We definitely ebb and flow as the weeks go. We were very high on the moves they made and what they were looking like, but I'm a little nervous about this team at the moment. I think we really have a couple weeks that are crucial. And quite honestly, you'll be home here in about 4 weeks, and that's their last regular season game. So, hitting up as we mentioned, the Kraken game. So hopefully we can catch a dub on a high note and maintain that spot. Also, speaking of teams that are trying to maintain going into the postseason, our ECHL Savannah Ghost Pirates, man, they're hot and cold. And I kind of, we had a week with a split, and then we had a real good weekend, and then last weekend wasn't great. I think we dropped Solar Bears. We dropped one, and we dropped one to the Walleyes. So they're still clinging onto the A spot. They're okay heading into the playoffs. But teams are starting to clinch, so they need to maintain. They're going to get a tough draw, but a younger team, a newer team. So, it'd just be nice to see them get in and maybe even compete in the series. But, the top 2 teams that they're going to be going against, what it's looking like, it'll be tough. They potentially see a Toledo Walleyes in the first round. They're good. They're a good team. So we shall see. That's all I had on hockey. Do want to talk F1? We're back. I know Nate's been all fired up. He's into it. It's looking like a better year for us this year, with our rooting interest. But we had 2 GPs under our belt, Chinese GP last weekend. And what's your thoughts?
I love Lewis Hamilton, even though we're just getting into this, so we don't really know a whole lot. But what is that?
You're dropping an iHeart. How about iHeart, Lewis?
He's awesome. He's just so pimp. Like, just look at the guy. But he got 3rd, which is pretty sick.
First podium for Ferrari, so that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mercedes is still illegally touching everybody else. They're just destroying everyone.
There was a bigger disparity between the Mercedes and the Ferraris this week than there was last week. But yeah, they kind of smoked them. I did hear I don't know if they did for sure. They were trying out a couple new things with the wing, Ferrari, but it was TBD whether they were going to run it in the actual GP. I'm not sure if they did or not. So I think, Ferrari's still fine tuning. They're in a better spot than they were last year. It's cool to see, Hamilton. He's still fast,
Crazy to see McLaren destroyed everybody last year, and they are struggling big time. Both of the Piastri and Lando, DNS, there's something wrong with the cars. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think, though, the thing with F1 that's kind of crazy is they're tweaking the rules constantly. They'll tweak the rules during the season, but, major rule tweaks going into there, you start changing, requirements on weight, aerodynamics, and changing the engines. I mean, you're going to see that every year, which it's interesting. I mean, I'm not saying experience. I mean, you see it with Caddy. By that logic, Caddy could potentially be fast from jump because it's a new set of rules, but they're not. I think what did they add? 1 DNS, and then they did have a finisher. No, they didn't. I think both cars finished like 4th to last and last. But I mean, they're getting, the more they can get laps under the belt, the better the cars will get and the faster they'll get. But yeah, it's weird to see Verstappen in the Red Bull team too down the order. I know we're new fans. What's your thoughts on Verstappen? I kind of feel like he's a weenie, dude. He's kind of a crybaby.
He gives me Nikola Jokic vibes big time. But I do think that he's kind of a wang.
I mean, do you like last year, Hamilton definitely was disappointed and knew it was hard, but he shouldered a lot of he never heard him really talk shit about Ferrari. And, he was very
I don't think
self-deprecating.
It didn't seem like he was mad as more. It just seems like he was depressed.
Frustrated. Well, and he took ownership for where he didn't do well, but Verstappen's just basically it's not good enough. They better figure it out quick. I don't know why. I'm sure I'm sure there's like some sort of like a translation. I know he speaks English, but like just like, cultural way it comes. I think he's very matter of fact, but he seems like he's kind of a wag. I don't know. Not a massive fan of his, so whatever. I will say for Mercedes, I do like Antonelli. He seems like a decent dude. I do like the Mercedes team, but we're
Their
all in
stuff
on
is
Lewis.
so sick.
It is. It is. I don't remember the two GPs off the top of my head. I think the Qatar got postponed and one other due to the world climate right now. We don't talk political on this show, so we're just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, so I don't know if they'll be able to make it up. That'll be interesting. I got to imagine if they
It
do, it'll
was
carve into the summer break.
Bahrain? Don't know how to
Bahrain, yeah.
pronounce.
You
And
got
Saudi
it.
Arabian. April
Yeah.
12th and April 19th. So
Those
we'll
will be out.
missing
That
on
sucks. You and I
those.
could have we could have watched the one on the first day you were home. Dang it
No,
all.
and the other one.
A
we
rats.
will.
But well, get excited. Like I said, I feel like we still have a lot to learn, but I feel like we know more than we did last year
getting
by
there.
like
We're
that
getting
much. But still would love to check out a GP. All right, well, let's get into it, dude. This is the big week. This is what we consider March Madness. Other than betting, I could care less about. Yeah, I could care less about the basketball. This is really March.
I do have something to mention. We will be doing another family-wide March Madness bracket just for fun. So I'll get that going. I'll get that going after the show. Don't stress.
That'll be complete guesses by everybody, so whatever.
Oh,
we'll see.
You could spend your entire life trying to put together a great bracket, and it's still not going to be successful. So why try?
Yeah. For sure. Well, I had did some bracket analysis for the tournament this year. So again, they're in Cleveland at CSU. I don't know if it's been since. I have gone since they're in Cleveland
Rocket
State
Arena.
Or Rocket Arena. I'm sorry. Yeah. CSU dropped their program. They don't deserve to have it, but Cleveland, hotbed of wrestling, so it's cool that it's there. But yeah, I mean, I would say what I've seen from seeding, it's about what you would expect. The Big Tens were heavily favored. I wouldn't say necessarily throughout. But I think, there's some teams to maybe watch out going into this. I think Virginia Tech has a very tough team. And we'll get into some of the team stuff, but PSU heavily favorited going into this. I'd say from a team standpoint, I would say your big four. I'll give you the big five. I would say Penn State, Ohio State, Okie State. Vatech is my sort of one to watch, and Lehigh is my one to watch. Lehigh's been tough this year. So those are sort of my teams that might, at nationals with so many individuals and 33 wrestlers per bracket, man, shit can happen. So, I would say Penn State is just way too deep to potentially just not be in the discussion, but I think anything could happen in that second and third place. I know I talked about it last week. Could somebody rise up and potentially knock off Penn State? Crazier things have happened. I would think it would be pretty crazy. Like they would have to have a pretty brutal first, second round, I think, to have that happen. So I don't know, so I'll go through. I'm going to tell you my favorites these are my picks to win. I'm not going to get in. I did go so far as to try to pick all of the All-Americans in every way, but I'm going to go through basically who I've picked to win each of the 10 weight classes. I'm going to tell you my prediction for team championship. I'm going to tell you my dark horse at every weight. And then we're going to get into 133 because, quite frankly, there's some people that we know and follow, in particular our boy Jax, who I'm just going to, teaser right here. He's my pick for 133 and a loaded 133-pound bracket. So any thoughts before I get into this, Nate? No?
Do it up.
All right. Well, I think, at 125, I do have Luke Lindahl winning this. I think what he has going for him is you have a tough kid from Virginia Tech, Ventresca on the bottom side of the bracket with Bazakis, so that's potentially shaping up to be a really tough semifinal. I just think as far as 125 goes, the top half of the bracket as it is significantly weaker than the bottom half. I would like to see Nick get another crack at him in the finals. The way they play it out, if you can stay healthy, I mean, he should have enough at the tank. I think that's not totally out of the realm of possibility. I'm going to go ahead and give you my potential upset special at 125. And it's Vincent Robinson from NC State. He's a 12 seed. Big scrambler. I think he's potentially that's a top 4 upset wrestler right there. So I'm not saying necessarily make the finals, but I think I do have him to AA, but that's a guy maybe to potentially look in a top 4 finish at 125. At 133, I have Jax Forrest, high school in December. I think he's my favorite. Again, this is a bracket there was a little bit of controversy on. I think so. The top half is definitely easier than the bottom half. Not to knock the Seidel from Virginia Tech, the 4 seed. He would have to potentially see him in the semis, but I think up to the semis, he's going to walk through. Seidel did give him a good match, and we'll come back to 133. I'm going to really get into it. Davino in the bottom half, your Big Ten champ, defeating Blaze. However, both, I think, some interest to that. That'll be a tough potential semifinal matchup. But we'll get in. My potential upset, Julian Farber, Northern Iowa. Dude's got a history of keeping matches close. And I think potentially that's a guy you could see All-American. Moving on, I'm going to breeze through these a little quicker. 144, I think this is not only Jesse Mendez. 41, I'm sorry. That's Mendez's weight to lose, and I think it's his Hodge to lose. Not a whole lot to say, but he's looked elite all year. So my sleeper, 41, Jack Consiglio from Stanford. He's a low seed. Or was he seeded? No, he wasn't.
He's 10 at the bottom.
He's our 10 seed, but freshman. And he's kind of shown to be able to compete with anybody. So that's who I got as my sleeper at 41. 49, I got Shane Van Ness. We're getting into where Penn State could potentially go on a run, and there's going to be a lot of chalk here. Because I just went strictly over what I really feel like will happen. Could there be some upsets potentially in there? But I think it's, again, Van Ness's weight to lose. My sleeper at 49 is CrossFit Wazlewski from Penn State. He is unseeded. So he's someone that could shake up the bracket. Will he All-American? I don't know about that. Potentially somebody to look at to shake this bracket up a little bit. 57, PJ Duke. He's a point scoring machine. He looked good at Big Tens. I don't know really who's giving him a match. I thought Cannon would give him a better match at Big Tens. He kind of got freaking walked. So I don't know. I think, again, PSU, PJ Duke, right there, you got 3 potential champs, and they're starting to really gap people if this goes this way. If this goes this way by 57, potentially this Penn State could be already done with this tournament and be team champs. Would it be the first year they went into finals as team champs? But we'll see. Caleb Rathjen, Northern Iowa, 14 seed. Potentially make the podium. That's my sleeper at 57. At 65, I have Messenbrick. Again, I don't really see he destroyed Caliendo. I would say destroyed, but he was dominant over Caliendo. And I thought Caliendo's the one dude at Iowa that I kind of like. And I thought, he was looking really good as of late. And maybe he was just going to make a case to be the standout for Iowa this year. I don't see it happening. 2-3, I really have Marcus Blaze, or not Marcus. What's the other Blaze brother's name?
Joey.
And Caliendo at 2-3, and I think there's a huge gap to Messenbrick. I have Will Denny, NC State, true freshman, 10 seed. He's been coming on. That's my sleeper pick at 65. 74, I have Levi Haynes. Again, who we got here? This is like, I just feel like there's not really any competition for Levi Haynes. At 74, my sleeper, Jared Seaman, Northern Iowa, 7 seed seat. What else do we got? 84. I'm gonna go against my better judgment. I just feel like the glass slipper and the pumpkin carriage are getting ready. It's turning midnight for Rocco Welsh. And what I saw out of Anthony Ferrari, he looked pretty good. Angelo, I'm sorry. I can't keep all of them. How many of them are there? Like 3 of them?
At least.
He looked really good to me. He looks more offensive, good defense, but he looked a little tired and winded and he was hurt. But he just had a big tune-up tournament and a couple weeks to prepare. I'm going to go out here and put Ferrari to upset Welsh at 184. I'm going to say it. So we'll see. Brian Soldano, Oklahoma seed, 20 seed. He's a big pin guy. So that's going to be my upset special at 184. 197, Josh Barr. I think that's a slam dunk upset. I have Sonny Sasso from Vatech. Again, Virginia Tech perennially puts up some nice teams. You know, for the ACC, NC State and Virginia Tech got two like hell of a program. Both of those programs, like sort of like year after year. Like I feel like either of those teams could enter the Big Ten and be in the conversation. Maybe not to win championships, but they could be a top 4 team in the Big Ten. Like really impressed with those programs. So again, you know, I didn't really mention NC State battling for a trophy. I don't know that they will. I'm going to stick with my Lehigh Vatech potentially being my sleeper teams. And then at 285, I would say Gadali from Michigan. He does seem to come through clutch in big moments. But younger Batista, I think, is a bigger, stronger, more dominant wrestler. So I am going to go with him. And only because he's a bit of a head case and a wild man and who the hell knows what to expect. I'm going to go double Ferrari, brother. I'm going to say AJ is going to be my sleeper to just maybe make some noise. You know, my heart would say I'd love to see Nick Feldman end on a high note, but I just don't see him. I could see him making the semis, but I don't see him making the final. So it's just not going to happen. But AJ, potentially. And let me look at that bracket here real quick. I'm thinking like, who we got on that side? He is a 4 seed.
He's got Feldman.
So potentially, I mean, he does have to get through Feldman. He owns Ben Cooter, and he will have to beat Gadali, but that's a rematch. No, he doesn't. He's on the other side. Sorry. I don't know, man. I think like, I don't know. He'll have to see Batista in the final. If he beats Batista in the semifinal, I say I'm calling upset special there. So anyway, moving back to 133. It's a little bit of a crazy bracket here. So, can we both agree? What's your take on Jax? I know you're a big Jax guy. You think he wins it. I think you're actually calling for him to walk through this.
Jax is going to work everybody.
Okay. So did a little analysis on that. So basically here's what we got. Top half of the bracket, a 4 seed. He potentially could see in the semis. Aaron Seidel, Virginia Tech. That kid's tough. He beat him 10-9 at the duels. I'm pretty sure that was at Virginia Tech. I don't know if that really matters or not, but that's not a cakewalk. So, you know, could potentially be a close match. He owns Drake Ayala. He's beaten him. So those are 2 seeds in the bracket he's walked through. Caleb Larkin, Arizona State. He smoked at the Big 12 tournament. And then he has a close defeat to this Nicolas Fouget from Wisconsin in 2023 9A World Team Trial. So that is freestyle. That was also 3 years ago, but those are wins. He's got 4 wins. Guys that he has not seen. Lucas Bird has not looked that good, but he is on his side of the bracket, and he is a returning national champ, and that is Showtime. So I'm never going to just say that's a walkthrough match for anybody. But you do have that to mention. I think the 2 on the other side, which is what we're really looking at for potential final, if he gets through, Marcus Blaze and Ben Davino both have wins over him. So we have Marcus Blaze has got wins over Forrest in the 23 Clarion Open. He beat him in the finals of the 25 PI state championships. He defeated him in the 3rd place match at the 24 Olympic trials. And Ben Davino has back-to-back wins over him in the best of 3 on the 24 US Open trials. So it's folk style. and it's years later, and he has definitely had a hell of a last basically 2 years, essentially since he's seen these guys. But again, he's got some familiarity with some of these guys in the tournament. So potentially we're looking at, he's going to probably have so round one, more than likely Andrew Austin, Central Michigan. He's going to walk through him. Round two, we're looking potentially winner of number 16 and number 17. So Fugate, Wisconsin, and Davis. We'll have to see. We'll see. That's a potential tough matchup. Quarterfinals, potential ace seed Markle, Northern Illinois, Serrano, who we know, number 9 out of Colorado. I think he walks through all those. His first test to me is going to be Seidel. Seidel has Larkin. I think Seidel works Larkin. I think that's a rematch in the semis. Going to be a tough match. And then I think potentially he has another tough match in the final against Davino or Marquez plays. So 100% think he can do it. But I think at first when people are like on his really small scope of wrestling this year, that's sort of, how is he the number 1 seed? I think he's been dominant. I think you look at points scored, you look at the fact that he's undefeated. The bottom half is definitely tougher, but the top half of that bracket's no cakewalk. And honestly, if you look at it and you look at reseeding, I'm not really sure what you do that's fair, that's going to make it any different. I mean, Davino and Blaze are definitive 2-3 seeds, and that's the way those get stacked. So I don't know. So I think it's sort of irrelevant because I think you got basically 4 guys that are head and shoulders above everybody else in that bracket. So despite who they may see beforehand, it's really going to be about what happens in those semifinal matchups, which if those guys wrestle according to their seeds and bracket positions, I think we'll get the semis that we're clamoring for. All right. So I know I was a lot of talking. I'm excited about it. Any thoughts?
Jax is about to walk through everybody. I'll rip a quick who I think will win every bracket. I did not do any research compared to, it appears you were scouring Track Wrestling, Flow, all the good websites today.
Wrestler Stat.
Yeah. Lilladall will win 25. Honestly, you could go 1 seed for every weight and get pretty close, I think. X is winning 33. I agree with you. Jesse Mendez going to win 41. I don't see anybody beating him. He's what we call in the business a dog. 49. I'm just going to go Shane Van Ness because I don't know anybody else in this weight. Is that what you had?
Yeah, I have Van Ness. I think that's a kind of head and shoulders above.
For 57, I don't like PJ Duke. Because his dumb little tights make me angry. So he's gonna lose. He's probably, I don't really know much about him other than he's the 3 seed, and I've heard that he's a dog. Meyer Shapiro is my winner for 57. Antro Taylor beat PJ Duke, I think it'd be beginning of the year, but the Big Ten finals, PJ Duke had Antro Taylor's number. That was not even a match. So we'll go Meyer Shapiro. 65, Messenbrink. I would love to see Joey Blaze win it. Don't think it's going to happen. Actually, I'll say that it's going to happen. I don't want to be like the rest. Joey Blaze wins 65.
I think there's definitely some guys like I don't, will it happen, but do I want it? Like 25 for me, like I could see Bazakis potentially winning it. They've had close matches. I don't see anybody beating Mitchell Messenbrink, but
I don't either. But he's weird. I don't like him.
The Penn State wrestlers it's a cult. Yeah,
they just give me bad vibes. Rocco Welsh is a bum, and for that reason, I won't pick him. Let's see. I'm gonna go Angelo Ferrari because why not?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go 97. Nothing about Josh Barr. Who did you pick?
I took Josh Barr. I think that's a no-brainer.
All right. Yeah, obviously a no-brainer. We're going Josh Barr.
Heavyweight could be fun.
Now, heavyweight. There's something wrong with AJ Ferrari. I don't know if it's like CTE kind of wrong, where we won't know until he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, perhaps AJ Ferrari and Antonio Brown, both their brains are going to be in a museum one day. I'm not sure. I don't think he's a very good guy or a good person for that matter. I can't really tell what the vibe is, but he's fun. So I'm going AJ Ferrari at 285. That's
Okay.
it.
I'm going to give you, just because this tournament, I love watching this. These are the guys that I'm really cheering for too, that I think I want Bazakis to win, the Ohio State guy. I'd love to see Davino and Forrest in the final. I want Forrest to win, so I'm pulling for him. I'm also, go back to 25. I'd love to see Steve-O end as an All-American. I want to see him go out as a top 8 finisher. I'll even pull for Serrano because he's a Colorado kid. Now, obviously, Mendez. I want to see him win a Hodge. I like Angelo better than I like AJ, so I'd like to see him win. I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for Nick Feldman, pulling for Carson Sharkler. There's some guys that I just, I'd like to see them end their careers. I know, so those are a couple right there from Ohio State, but that's what I'm looking at. Should be a fun few days. I did have, with regards to my teams, so like I said, I think Penn State probably goes into the finals with it wrapped up. I think it's going to be an extremely tight race between Oklahoma State and Ohio State, potentially coming down to, half points. I think Ohio State's probably got a guaranteed national champion, and Oklahoma State might have one as well. It's just really going to depend on those guys, how they're doing in those blood rounds going through the backside of those brackets. We'll see. We'll see where you go. This is all you need to know about college wrestling right now, though. When you look at like the favorites and the one seeds, and you see all these PSU guys, and then you see like potentially where, some of these other teams might be able to get a guy in the finals and basically scrapping for All-Americans. It's just like there's so much work to be done to catch up. So we shall see. So some things. It starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Nate and I talking about potentially doing some live stream of the finals. So we will hit you all out on our social media accounts if we do that. We'd love to have people, potentially some of our show faves, jump on, and or some people hit us up in the chat as we go through that. Particularly our boy Mark and Dave, who I'm sure will be on the chat talking about how every Iowa wrestler is going to win a national championship, even though they have 2 bum coaches and they've underachieved for the last how many years. But so we'll get back out to you. But last thing I had for you this week was Song of the Week, Nate. You listening to any tunes?
Can't think
Excuse
of
me.
anything off the dome.
Banger of the week, because I got approval to do that. My banger of the week. We're sticking with sort of the 90s groove style. I'm going I'll Be Here a While, 311. It's a pretty cool tune. If you've never heard it, check it out. But yeah.
Is that
that's my
similar
song.
to 311?
Yeah, that's in the same genre as 311.
For
Just
sure,
ask
for
the
sure.
bear. Yeah, ask the bear.
I honestly don't have one this week.
Nothing for the week. You got to be catching up on your tunes, bro.
I know, I got nothing new today.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
come
that's
at you
all.
with 2 next week.
Sounds
How
good.
about
Well,
that?
next, like I said, maybe some big things for the week, potential live stream. Definitely we'll be debriefing the Division I wrestling finals. My boy Nate potentially hitting up the tat shop, so maybe we have some new ink to debut. We'll see. No,
Potentially. If I could find a
Potentially.
place. I feel like I've waited too long and now I'm not going to find a place. So.
just do it yourself. Just stick and poke. Just get
Okay.
some pen ink and, give yourself a prison tat. Sure, it'll come out
For sure.
fine. Yeah, for sure. But that's all we got. Everybody stay cool. Hey, what do you got?
Peace out, y'all.
Peace out. Stay classy, Cleveland.
The run is off. Run is off. Yeah. Hey, Cleveland roots with a reckless style. Take so bold and a flagrant foul. Eyes on the ice, Notre Dame pride. Wrestling talk about culture, ride from Rich to Nate. It's full court wild. Say back press play, it's flagrant foul. Yeah, it's flagrant foul.